Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Osuri Balde. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. Wherever you're watching us from, please send us a message on our Facebook page. Tell us where you watching this program from. And we're saying hello to all our viewers in the Philippines, the young lady, and to our cousin Angela in the UK. We're saying hello to you, Sister Jainaba, the UK, and Banki, Madrid, Spain. They follow this program. And Mr. Jawara, Ibrahim Jawara in the United States of America, a grandchild to our former president, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara. We're saying hello to all of you, wherever you're watching us from. Good morning. I am on the platform with Julden Jai and Mr. Adedrame. Gentlemen and lady, welcome to this program.
Lady.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Balde. Good morning, Mr. Ade. And good morning to our cousin, Angela.
Yes, Angela. And Angela, pick up your phone, please. I tried to call you yesterday.
From wherever you're watching us, like Balde said, we are saying good morning and a warm welcome to yet another interesting program.
And as we've said to all the viewers who are kind of repeat viewers, keep on watching, keep on telling other people about the program so they'll also tune in. And, the more the merrier. So spread the good news. And if you have any criticisms, let us know. Send us a message.
Yeah.
Spread the good news, spread the love, spread the unity among you.
So, Ibrahim, how was your weekend?
Oh, it was.
I'm glad you asked. Ibrahim always asks us, how was your weekend?
I know, I thought let me jump in first.
My weekend, I spent it at home.
Okay, cool.
Except Sunday. That's yesterday. I went back to Yuna to go and solve that land issue again. So finally we realized that that land was sold to another person.
Wow.
And there was a fencing and a compound gate already.
Oh my
so, I mean, those that sold this land to that individual, I collected them personally.
Right.
We took them there. And, they confirmed, unfortunately, our brother sold this land. You understand?
I hear these stories
you
all
understand?
the time. Yeah.
I said to them, where is your brother?
Yeah.
You can guess the answer. Our brother passed away.
So the one who sold the land
so I said,
who
did they sell this land to?
Yes.
Well, we don't know.
Oh my word.
Wow.
So I said, okay, so what are we going to do?
We hear so many of these stories.
They said, we are going to check another place and compensate you.
Oh my word.
It's a problem.
You see how unfortunate it is. So I was in that burhu ha yesterday.
Yes, oh my word.
You understand?
So that took up most of your day, I presume.
So it took almost my whole day.
Wow.
So then went back home.
Yes.
Spend. Somebody saying, I'm afraid they'll give you another month's land.
Exactly. But Julde, what about yourself? You've had an interesting, I should say, in quotes, kind of weekend.
And by the way, I need to compliment Julde. She is looking like
she's looking resplendent.
She's looking like the petal of a flower.
Indeed.
You know, the flower itself, but the petal is the most beautiful.
Beautiful, thank you. Yo inyanulo. Eliza mwe wane mahinduro ninjuli. So suma followers, suma fans, calling an attack of QSL building.
But in terms of weekend, I said you had an interesting one.
I had an interesting one. And because on Saturday and Sunday, my meter had a problem. And, I tried contacting NAWEC and they promised that they will be coming. And then we were all scared because the whole of Saturday we could not sleep.
Right.
Because it's like the meter was like a jumping light. It goes on, off, on and off, on and off. And we were scared really to sleep in the house, especially this time of the rainy season. But fortunately, they turned up around 3 p.m. and then they did not fix it. They could not fix it. So now they promised that they are going to fix it this morning.
We hope they're watching.
I hope so too. Because honestly, I'm scared. I could not anytime it goes on and off, me and my kids were like, oh my God, it can blow up anytime. Because we had stories of, a fault in electrical wares and all of that.
Stories have we not covered?
Fire outbreaks and all of that. So aside from that, it was a good week.
Well, that's the main reason. If you are wiring your house, make sure you get the best quality wires. You understand? At some point, these low brand wires can easily wire off. At some point, it can spark fire at your resident. I mean,
yeah, I think later on in the program we have something about unsafe buildings, and I think that also plays into that. Sometimes people go for cheap because they say, "Well, this is all I can afford." Well, let me tell you, you might say it's all I can afford now, but if your house burns down in a year's time, it's going to cost you a lot more. So spend that little bit extra and get quality stuff.
Yeah.
But as I said, later on there's something on the program about unsafe buildings, which is rampant. We see it everywhere.
It is.
We go to people's houses and you think, oh, that wall looks like it's leaning or it's cracked or whatever, because they thought they were saving money by going for a cheap option, and it's not usually a wise thing. So,
well, most of the time, like Mr. Ade, the reason why people go in for cheap cables is because that's what they can afford.
But that's the point I'm making.
When I was doing,
can you afford to lose your house?
When I was doing my construction,
Yeah.
you know, when I got to the wiring part, the electrical part, and you know, the electrician advised me and gave me a budget of the type of wires. You know, can you imagine just a roll of wire, $11,000 a roll of wire? That's the British cable.
My brother, pray it and have peace of mind. You know, pay it.
What about if your whole budget for pipes, cables is $11,000?
What about if your house burns down a year later because of unsafe cable?
Yeah.
It's not sense. It's not a sensible
well, I
saving.
know it is senseless. It is senseless.
Exactly.
It really isn't.
At some point, they will tell you there are Dubai cables, there are
I hear all
British
this stuff,
cables.
yeah.
You understand? But you know, may God save the Queen.
You know, but I think we have to start. We have to start maybe a series of programs telling people about this.
Yes.
That it's not a saving. In the end, if you end up losing your house. We have places where the houses are burnt down to everything.
Beautiful
everything in the house has
houses,
been consumed
unfortunately
by a fire, and then you say, oh, faulty electricity or faulty wiring. Why? Because you went for the cheap one, or you went for some guy who doesn't even know get somebody who has been recommended to you because they've done good work, not some guy who says, yeah, I can fix that, and then, you know, a year later or 6 months later you're regretting it. So it's not wise. But tell us what else is on the show, please.
Exactly.
And then I might tell you about my weekend.
Mr. Ade, you will tell us about your weekend before we move.
Yeah, well,
I refuse to read down the running order.
I'm more than happy. It wasn't that. It was fairly boring. But, I mean, Sundays, if the weather is nice, or even when the weather's not nice, I like to take a drive along the coast. So Tangier, Gunjur, those places, just to see people bringing in the fish and that sort of thing. And for me, it's relaxing. You know, I'm not doing anything. And I didn't watch any football because my team played on Saturday and lost, so I wasn't interested in. In fact, I only checked the football results this morning. Manchester United, yeah.
They lost?
Lost to Brighton.
They lost to Brighton.
Yankuba Minter's team, they won.
I definitely.
Yeah, so.
You know, people have been saying this, but because I don't follow football much, people have been saying Manchester, it's a very useless team. Yeah. And, you know, I will not comment, but
listen, right now, as a fan, as a fan, I can confirm that
you began a war with Gajaga. He's coming later on in the...
No, Gajaga will tell you, for the last 6-7 years, the team has been rubbish. I mean, you can't disguise it and you can't hide it. You can't pretend otherwise. The facts speak for themselves. The team has been rubbish.
That's the beginning of you winning again, as far as you've accepted. I mean, they are very useless team.
No, they should have sacked the useless coach, but they kept him.
Yes. According to what people are saying, Manchester United, it's a very useless. I didn't say it.
It's coming from a Manchester United.
It's coming from Manchester United.
Fans
born
really
and
attack you this morning.
Born and bred. No. It's coming from a born and bred Man United. Both of my parents were Man United fans, and that's how I got into supporting the team. So for as long as I can remember, it's the only team I've ever supported. Got my parents, when they went to study in the UK in the 50s, I beg your pardon. United had a young team that were doing quite well, and they started following them. And I had always been into football, and so I started following them. So in the UK, that was my team.
Thank you. We'll take a short break. After the break, then we'll be back. I mean, there's something that I want to put into the attention of the general public, and of course, we can say it in the studios as well to see if we can discuss it here. You know, but
so what's the difference between the public and the general public? Which is one? One is one.
The public might be the half group watching. The general public might be everybody watching. Is that not quite a very a good definition?
These guys will tell you when they bring their stories to me, and it has the phrase "the general public." I just take out the word "general."
General public.
Even in journalism school, we're told like there's nothing like
this is a
general public.
To the general public. This is a press release from
they will tell you it's monotonous.
Yeah, so we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll delve into the African code, and into other stories. We'll be back.
Sure.
Looking for internet for your free videos, pictures, chats, work, and school projects? Think free night browsing. QCell's free night browsing lets you browse the internet for free. Oh yeah. Get a data SIM, recharge a minimum of $500 and enjoy free browsing after 24 hours from midnight to 6 a.m. every night for 30 days. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. It's happy time. Get 50% off all calls to any network. Enjoy calls every day to any network from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Is it too good to be true? QCell. We innovate, others follow.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Welcome to this program. If you're just tuning in, on the platform, I'm with Julde Njai and Mr. Adedrame. Our African code reads Julde, and I'll allow you to take us through.
Okay, so this morning we have a good leader was once a good follower. A good leader was once a good follower. Mr. Ade?
A good leader was once a good follower.
It's an interesting one because it means that if you become a leader, you have, because you can be a follower, you could be a bad follower. But a good follower means that you have observed and you've picked up good habits and good ways of dealing with people and good ways of leading people. So I like the fact that it doesn't just say a good leader was once a follower. It says was a good follower. In other words, whoever was leading you, if they were a good leader, you picked up good habits from them. And of course, the opposite is equally true. If they were a bad leader, you pick up their bad habits, and when you become a leader, you perpetuate those bad habits and those bad ways. We have both, and we've seen both in our lives and in work and everywhere else. That you should observe somebody who is a good leader and try and learn from them. It's not always easy. You go to some places, people will tell you that being a good manager is the one who shouts at his staff or her staff all the time. I've never believed in that. And so when I've had people like that as my boss, we've always clashed, because that's not being a leader. You're just being a bully. And it's never been my style. So, but everybody has their style. But I like the fact that a good leader is somebody who pays attention to detail and so on, and you pick up the good things and the good habits from whoever your boss or your leader was. So that's my take on it.
A good leader was once a good follower.
Balde,
what's your take?
Well, I will disagree with the proverb. I am not in for it. I do not support this proverb. A good leader was once a good follower. You follow at the end of the time. Let's take a look at the case of Africa, how we do coup d'etats. If you're a good follower, you cannot unseat your boss. You cannot.
Then you're not a good follower, then, are you?
You are not a good follower.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's your disagreement? That's a bad follower.
That's a bad follower. That's what I'm saying.
No, so but a good leader was once a good follower.
No, a good leader was once a good follower.
Yes.
You understand?
Exactly.
So here, at some point, you are unseating someone.
Yes.
It's telling you are not a good follower as well.
You're not disputing what it says.
Yes. So
you're confirming what it says.
You don't understand the perspective that I am taking.
I totally am not. Because I'm saying, what you're saying is that if you unseat the person who was your leader, then that makes you a bad follower. It doesn't make you a good follower.
But is it not even interesting that people who unseat leaders. At some point, we follow and cheer them as good leaders, while we know at some point the way they came into power is typically very wrong. It's not the right way, but at some point, how many people cheer up Yaya Jammeh here? At some point, he was a follower.
Was he a good follower?
Should we call him a good follower? Should we call him a good follower or a bad follower?
Was he a good follower?
Well, coup d'etat will tell you whether he is a good follower.
Somebody who goes against their constitution. Anybody who stages a coup d'etat has gone against your constitution. You've actually broken one of the oaths that you take as a soldier.
How many people regarded
straight away
then as a good leader?
No. That's different. That's different.
So that's why I disagree with the proverb.
It's I get where you're coming from, but
that's my point.
It's the fact that we think of somebody who killed so many people, and you think that person was a good leader, then I'm sorry. That says more about the fact that we normalize dysfunctional, brutal, oppressive, autocratic people, and we think that's fine and that's normal and that's good. I'm sorry, that says more about us and our deficiencies.
People are trying to gutize Mamadi Doumbouya. People are trying to find very positive labels. Once for Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, for once you assume power, through coup d'etat, you are not a good leader.
You can always assess people. We can all make the mistake. I remember friends here in the Gambia who were fed up of Jawara. Now that we kind of turned him into a saint, people forget that at the time he was somebody who overstayed, and I'm somebody who was a fan. So, I'm not saying anything that's particularly critical. And you're right, when Jammeh first came into power, people celebrated him. But, they also say, be careful what you wish for, because you might have wanted the old man to go, but boy, when he went, look what came after him, So, yeah, and in the case of Mamadi Doumbouya, he's kind of closed off the space in Guinea to the extent where he's on TV every day, literally every day. He posts on his YouTube channel every day, on his Facebook every day. It's all you see. And he has every single thing he posts, he has this message, the same message in all of them. I want the Guinean people to know that this project has my personal imprint on it. That is in every single message. I know because I follow him, so I know. So he's kind of indoctrinating people into saying he's wonderful. And one of the things he did, he renegotiated all the mining contracts, and he brought the people in front of the TV channels, TV studios, and they saw them signing the renegotiated contracts. So he's doing all of that. And of course, at the moment, people think he's good. I mean, the guy went for Kagame's inauguration, and when he came back, the people lined the streets as if he'd gone abroad and won a war or something. It was bizarre. I mean, hundreds of thousands of people on the streets waving somebody who's just gone for an inauguration. It was bizarre. You can find it on his YouTube channel. It's like, what's that all about? So at the moment, because he's the only news they get, they think he's good. However, when the unions decided to call a strike, it was nationwide. They said nobody goes to work for 3 days. And guess what? Nobody went to work.
You see? So that's total. The issue.
So they wanted to show that they had power too. So yeah, he's, we don't know whether he's liked or not, because that's all you see on TV is him. So there's no one else. There's no competition. But having said that, he announced last week that the new constitution will have term limits, 2-term limit, which is, I know it's a debate here as well. It's a debate in the ECOWAS region. But he said last week that the new one that's going to be put in front of the Guinean people will have term limits. But yeah, Julde hasn't given us her take yet on good leader yet. So
I have what?
We still have the newspapers to come, and we're still waiting for Julde's take on a good leader.
I think, the examples you gave are really apt as far as the proverb is concerned. That goes to show that our leaders are a reflection of us, as a people in the society. We cannot wish for good leaders if the followers the followership are not good. And that is what we are seeing. It's something that we normalize in Africa, that, okay, it's good to be in power, it's good to, if we normalize corruption, we normalize bad governance, you know, as a people, we don't expect our leaders to be good, because our leaders are from the same society that we are. Yeah. So, I mean, if these are things that we normalize as a people, we don't expect to have an angel to sit there as our leader. They are a reflection of us as individuals. So I think, you know, in as much as we want good leaders, I think we should all endeavor to be good followers. If you see things that are not going right, it doesn't matter whether this person is your favorite leader or the person is from your political party. Tell the person that what you're doing, it's not right. What is right is right. What is wrong, it's wrong. You cannot make the wrong right. You cannot make the right wrong. So that's just it. But if you say, okay, this is my leader, I appreciate the person, and you don't care what the person does, whether it's good or bad, it makes you a very bad follower. And at the end of the day, you don't expect to have a very good leader as well. So that's it. You know, I think we should try endeavor to be good followers, and then if we really want to have good leaders.
I think that's a very well-made point, and it's one that in a different context, I think on one of the programs last week, I was saying that, you know, in Africa, we make the mistake of electing people. And when we elect those people, both us, the people who elect them, and the people we elect, they think they've been elected to rule us rather than to serve us. But if I can vote you out, that should make you always have my interest at heart, not yours. Because come the next election, if I don't like what you've done, I'll vote for somebody else.
Exactly.
Or I won't vote at all. But we vote them, and they become almost
we
monarchs.
Them.
Yes,
we worship them.
Yeah, they become like monarchs, when you know, chosen by God almost. Exactly. You know, and then, as you rightly say, they surround themselves with people who just tell them any bad thing they do. Yeah, you're right. Never somebody saying, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, so like you said, the followers have to be good too.
Well, you know, it depends on how we comprehend what leadership is, what presidency is, what, you know, to be voted in a position is. Instead, the servers, we keep serving them, you know. So until we change that mentality, we will keep, sinking in situations like this. So now let's move on. Let us don't waste our time on those kind of topics.
Oh, I don't think it's a waste of time. It's a very good topic.
They are boring topics as well.
Hey,
because we keep talking about them all the time. You know, the presidency.
It's because it's not boring. That's why we keep talking about it. If it was, we wouldn't. If it was boring, we wouldn't.
So now, you know, what I want to share you know, on this platform is recently I have been seeing a lot of young boys roaming the street and begging, you know. Yesterday I encountered you know, a young boy who is not more than 12 years. There was a time I went to a bush, you know, for sightseeing. I went to see something, you know, somewhere around Mandinaring inside. I met a young boy not more than 9 years old. He saw me and said to me, Dad. I said, yes. He said, can you please give me $10? I want to buy bread. I said to him, where's your mother? Where's your father? And he said to me, they are all in Serekunda. I'm here for the purpose of Dara. You know, here they brought me to a boarding school. I said, where's the boarding school? And this boy was carrying something like dry breads. You know, unwanted dry bread. He was struggling, and you know, it struck me so hard, and I really felt his situation, you know, and I interviewed him. Where are you from? He said, I'm from Latrikunda, German. Is your dad around? He said, my dad brought me here to, you know, at least do my dara, you know. So then I realized, okay, the parents, they really know their kids are roaming about the streets and asking for money, you know, because when it is me, I will not allow it. You understand? Yesterday too, that's after a few months. Yesterday I met a young boy on the highway, just from Yuna. You know, I stopped by a friend on the main highway, and a boy almost 12 years came and said to me, Dad, can you give me something I want to buy? I said, where are you from? He said, I'm from the boarding school. You know, I'm here to learn. I said, where are your parents? He said, my parents, they are all in the village. You know, so we have situations like this. We are not trying to discourage boarding schools. We are not trying to discourage the Quran. You know, one thing about the Gambia, when you highlight certain truths, people will point fingers at you.
No,
I'm not trying to discourage Quranic schools.
I don't think so.
My kids are going to Quranic schools. My kids are learning the Quran. And at the same time, but the manner in which it is done sometimes.
I was going to interrupt you because I don't think anybody is going to point fingers at you. Even our chairman, Mohamed Jah, once said that he was shocked and ashamed when he sees some of these places that are meant to be places for young people to learn the Quran and the state and the condition that they're in. And he wanted to see an end to that. So you're not the first to say it. But, you know, even one of our colleagues, you know, when he was sent to Senegal as a young boy, you know, every day they would send them out to go and beg, as if that was part of the thing. And, you know, parents have to realize that that's not what I didn't send my child to go and be a beggar.
Yeah.
I sent my child to go and learn the Quran, you know, and really there has to be this, we have to take this thing seriously. Because as you said, you've seen it and you've been upset by it.
Absolutely.
And there are lots of these youngsters that we see around. I mean, we've all seen them.
Exactly.
So you're not saying anything that's a shock to anybody.
You know, it can be my child, it can be your child, it can be another person's child. So we don't have to waste much time on this topic. Let's move on the newspaper review.
I think just say spend time. Don't keep saying waste time.
Well,
Please.
I mean, to me, it's kind of a wasting time because
you brought up
we are
the
wasting
topic.
more
I think
energy.
It's a very important
it's an important topic. And
yeah,
you brought
so
it up.
let's proceed. Gam Petroleum operating without license, says General Manager. And General Manager is on the front page. Mr. Jallo, Gam Petroleum.
Which newspaper is that?
That's the Point newspaper.
Okay, which is the one I don't have.
It's the Standards newspaper. He said they are operating without license.
Is this? Have you got the right date?
Let me check.
Because it's the 26th.
It's Foroya
This
newspaper.
is
not
Foroya.
standard.
It's the Foroya, rather.
Gam Petroleum.
Yeah, so I mean,
license.
I don't know what prompted that. I mean, why is Gam Petroleum operating without a license? Is it that they are a government-attached body at some point?
Possibly.
Gam Petroleum belongs to the government, that they are so big at some point they can operate without a license, while other, you know, fuel stations are operating with license?
Well, I think we've all seen government institutions breaking the law. It's nothing new in the Gambia. I'm sad, you know, sad to say. You look at the law regarding driving license, it says quite clearly it should be for 3 years. And yet we all know that the police operates a system where it's for 1 year. That is illegal. And that's operated by the police. So please, if Gam Petroleum are breaking the law, they're not the only government institution that's doing so. If the police are breaking the law, then who's to tell Gam Petroleum not to do the same?
But that's not justifiable. I mean,
I'm not saying it is.
That shouldn't be a yardstick to measure that.
No, I'm just saying it's not a shock then. But I don't know the circumstances. Yeah, I'm not surprised. But I don't know the circumstances in which the general manager revealed this or how it came to be that they're not, that they're operating without a license. But on the face of it, it seems fairly shocking. So yeah.
So now what should we do? Because it's
well, let's investigate the details before we know what to do.
Exactly.
We need to
not
know.
just jump on a headline.
We need to know. All right. Another one is saying majority of Gambians in strong support of the new constitution. Afrobarometer reveals.
That
you know, why is Afrobarometer reminding me of Barrow all the time?
Of course, because the name Barrow is there. But that is also replicated in the Point newspaper and the Standard. Gambians survey shows most Gambians want the 2020 draft constitution back. Gambians support new constitution amid doubtful political will. That's from the Point. Look, it's generated a lot of debate, and you will be discussing it here on this program later. But yes, Afrobarometer is just one of several. Came out last week that they convened this thing where they kind of gave out the results of the survey. And that was one of the things. There were several things about political will, about corruption, about safety and so on, all sorts of things. But the hot topic probably is the constitution. Because it's been regazetted, having been tinkered with, if one can put it that way. Some people are not happy with the changes that have been made and even challenging its legality. So, but we don't want to go too far into that because you have a guest who will be discussing this later.
Exactly.
So I wouldn't have chosen that one. But UDP's Ramzia Diab decamps to NPP. That is on the Standard, far right of the Standard newspaper. And there's also been a press release, breaking news. She leaves UDP to join President Barrow's. I don't know Ramzia Diab. I don't know if any of you do, but it seems to have been given high prominence because even as we speak, there are updates online about this, that somebody senior has left UDP to join NPP. It's nothing.
Well, as much as it's a story that is carried by most of the media houses in this country.
I think most of them will. One of them had an exclusive, but now online, as the program is on, people are posting.
You know, it's not new to deflect to another party. I mean, it's not new to move to another party. So maybe it's the prominence of the young.
Well, that's what I was saying. It might be a senior member because if you're just an ordinary card-carrying member, it's not going to be front page of a newspaper. So that may well be.
Well, you know, this moving from one party to another is becoming a good business. I mean, recently I've seen someone deflected from, from NPP to GDC, and he was compensated with a motorbike. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Mr.
But that's a new business.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
How many motorbikes does one have to give? You know.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking? I have said my own, so don't worry.
But it's a new business in town, Balde.
Yes.
So Julde.
So another story saying Julde. Police confirm escape of suspect from Sukuta station.
Yeah, that's the young man who set the mom ablaze last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how he escaped because.
Well, yeah. I mean, prison escapes of high-profile prisoners is obviously not, confined to the Gambia. You had the serial killer in Kenya who is alleged to have killed 42 people, and he broke out of prison last week. I mean, how somebody who is a serial killer is not under maximum security.
Wow.
It makes you wonder. And now, they put a price on his head for his recapture, but he hasn't been captured yet. 42 people. And what was even stranger is that the place he was burying them was only 100 meters from a police station.
He buried them?
Wow.
The bodies.
100 meters away
from a police station. It's bizarre. So I guess we shouldn't be shocked that he escaped. But in the Sukuta one, again, this case, people commented on it. We commented on it here that, the argument about his girlfriend being allowed in the house or not, and he poured petrol on his mother and set her alight. Thankfully, she survived. But he was arrested, and now he seems to have escaped somehow.
Yeah, according to the police press release, they said he escaped in the toilet because he said he wanted to use the restroom, and then he jumped
through the toilet. I mean,
window.
Is it roof or window?
Window. But people are saying that the Sukuta toilet, those that know the Sukuta police station, that it does not have a window. It's an open toilet, and it's outside of the police station. So
well, in fact, I think when you talk about security, at some point security needs to be tied in such a way. There are certain security measures that shouldn't be compromised as a security department.
You would imagine.
I mean, you cannot take a criminal out from the police station to outside toilets for why not you have your toilets inside? Why not you have all those things inside?
Or move him to a police station that does have an inside toilet. I guess this is a harsh lesson that they've learned. But of course, what this also means is that those who have spoken out against him, the mother and other people, will now be in fear because who knows, he might go after them. So, it's a really shocking state of affairs.
A lot of things happening.
So what else have you got, sir?
Well, I think I'm afraid I'll have to say bye to you.
Oh dear.
We've already eaten most of it.
Oh, we are taking a leave of Mr. Ade
yes,
already.
Yes. Mr.
And
Ade
you
will
missed
go.
the one with passenger arrested with pistol at airport.
Oh!
Standard, but never mind.
A lot of pistols nowadays.
Yeah,
you know, students going to school with pistols, passengers
and
with
also
pistols.
woman begs Barrow to intervene in recovering late father's wealth in Nigeria. That's
How will
another one.
Barrow
That's
do that?
that's from the Standard. Oh, we don't know. We can delve in, but yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Ade,
That's
for
all right.
I mean, you know, reviewing the stories.
Yeah,
with us.
great to be here.
Interesting, at least catching up with you this early Monday morning.
Yes, and
this August morning.
Final shout out to my son who's been taken to hospital with kidney stones. So.
Oh, your son?
Yes, I
He's
hope
been taken
okay.
to the hospital with
Kidney stone problem.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him a speedy recovery.
Alpha.
You know, kidney stones now we have very good experts that can handle it.
They can dissolve them without.
A few years back, I witnessed someone being operated in front of me.
Oh wow!
A person with kidney stones at Sarab Clinic, done by Dr. Jah himself.
Right.
Now they don't do any major operation. They have some machines that they insert and remove the kidney stones.
Yep.
And the individual was okay.
Yeah, he should be fine. He was in extreme pain, but inshallah, he'll be okay.
Inshallah, he'll be fine. Yeah, so we'll take a short break. After the break, the program is going to continue. We are calling each and every person to come over and sponsor this program. The table is empty. Anything that we put here, it's going to sell.
And before I forget it, because I'm getting old, there's a MOBSI press release about schools charging that should not be charging. At some point, I think we need to address that. But I just, once it's in my head, I thought let me mention it.
All right. You can, all right. So we'll be right back.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free! Yes, absolutely free! Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
I am Ibrahim Abalde. You are watching QTV this morning, and we are saying, you know, such to all our viewers from around the world, and of course, you know, those that are watching via our social media handles as well. We are saying hello and good morning to you. We are broadcasting from Kairaba Avenue, The Gambia. Now let's move to the third segment of this program. That's the Afrobarometer report on the draft constitution. And we have Fatou Jang Senghor, co-national investigator, Afrobarometer. You are welcome, Madam Senghor.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here on this program.
Thank you.
Yes. So first of all, can you please take us through what the Afrobarometer is? Before you coming, you know, on this platform, I made mention that when you talk about Afrobarometer, it reminds me of President Adam Barrow. You know, just for people to understand, it is not attached to him. What can you tell us what the Afrobarometer is?
Yes, thank you. Afrobarometer is a network. It's a survey research network that exists since 1999. It's a network comprised of different research institutions around Africa. It provides data on experiences, lived experiences of Africa on public interest issues, on democracy. It evaluates also some of those issues, such as, you know, the level of democracy in a country, issues around constitutionalism, issues around also elections. So it's really a data-driven institution that, you know, comprises of different reliable and also very credible institutions in different countries.
So
yes,
this survey that you conducted between April to May 2024, tell us the composition of this survey.
Composition?
Like, as in how many people were interviewed, you know, the methodology.
Yeah, Afrobarometer, first of all, since 1999, Afrobarometer has done surveys in 42 countries across Africa.
Oh, okay. 42.
And one of the core thing is that the survey cannot be conducted in a country that is not free, because the whole essence is to have face-to-face meeting with individuals in their own setup. It's not like you interview people on the telephone or on via other means. You go to their places, you sit with them, you explain the methodology, and you explain the objective of the research, and they adhere. So they consent, and then you discuss with the different communities. So far, we have done about 3 surveys in this country since 2017. So the first was 2018, and you understand, before 2017, there was no democracy.
Absolutely.
There was no freedom of speech, so people wouldn't adhere, people wouldn't speak to the media. I'm sure you know about those because you are in the media. You know that generally most Gambians will not speak freely in the past to the media. Yeah, but so far, as I said, we've interviewed about 1,200 Gambians. It's a sample. And that sample also is based on a robust methodology, also calculated, you know, on what surveys in general you see, like recently we have the statistics in the country in terms of the population. And some of those methodology are really near what what are done at the national level and internationally. So they respect international standards in terms of sampling, in terms of consent of people, in terms of the approach.
So the age category, is it from all young people, old people, and, you know, those in the middle age, or what is the composition?
When you do the interviews, you start from 18 people before, you know, from the age of
consent.
Yes, to 70. And also the important thing is that all categories will be interviewed, and also the proportion between rural and urban also is respected. And gender-wise, I think we have about more than 50 men, because also that is linked also to the way, you know, things are in the country. Men speak openly, you know, more openly because of the stereotypes, because of so many other things. So we interviewed also more than 45% of women. Even though, and the slight, the number of men interviewed is more than the women, but that's also explained because of, you know, the stereotypes, the fact that men are more, you know, easily approachable when it comes to discussing some of those issues. And culturally also, women generally tend to ask for permission, tend to be reluctant in talking to the media and even talking to surveyors.
So
let's talk about the Afrobarometer's evaluation and content as well. You know, after doing your own, you know, report and draft as well, please take us through your evaluation and the content.
Okay, there have been different areas, and these are standardized across the region. But each country will have specific issues that are pertinent, that are relevant to their, you know, their political, social life. For example, in the Gambia here, we have create issues around transitional justice, the constitutional building process. But also, we're looking at the issues on FGM and gender-related issues also was included as part of the country-specific, you know, questionnaires. But overall, what we look in general is that the level of satisfaction in terms of governance, how people see their governance, their government, from the central government, like the executive, but also importantly, we look into the local government, the level of satisfaction, and also the parliament. And the other point also that we've touched on is the constitution. What people want. Do they want a new constitution? Do they want to stick to the old constitution? But also there is another important element, and that has been coming after the 2020 rejection. When the 2020 constitution was rejected, I think there have been a lot of debate in the country on commitment, who's committed to what. So a question about the commitment of the political party was also included to gauge how Gambians see also their political leaders. Another important thing also, which is always crucial in terms of the evaluation, is the level of satisfaction in terms of the delivery of public services. And there is a big red flag in terms of satisfaction of people in terms of the delivery. And one key area that has been coming again is the health sector. People also feel that, you know, they are very displeased with the level of delivery of health sector, of health services in general. And that is something that also the government needs to look into seriously. So now maybe I can try and break down each of those areas. So that you can see what Gambians are saying
about the new constitution.
Well, I've also seen key findings here.
All right.
I mean, the key findings, let's take one by one, I mean, to be able to discuss it here, Julde. And 7 out of 10 Gambians, that 71% express support for a new national constitution, while a quarter, that's 24%, say there is no need for a new constitution.
Yeah, I think that's not a surprise. I think after the change, everybody wanted a change of framework, like the reforms to go on. And one of the key area of reform was the foundation document. As you all know, all these laws are there, but if you don't have a constitution that reflects the new aspiration of people, the new dispensation in terms of the democracy, I think there's unfinished business. And I think that is reflected in the report, and it has been consistent since 2018 that people want a new constitution, and 70% of Gambians want a new constitution, which is very important to deliver that. And I think one thing that I didn't mention at the beginning is that the margin of error in terms of this research is very little. So the accuracy is more than 95%, and that is based on really robust methodology. You can see that the margin of error is between -3%. So it means when we say Gambians in their majority, in overwhelming majority, wants a new constitution, indeed, it's a reality, and you can see it now. What they want exactly in terms of the content of the constitution. I think that's a debate that will continue, I think, to be in the public domain. But definitely they want a new constitution. And if you go down in the research, you will see also part of the aspiration, the democratic aspiration, is also reflected.
So as a co-investigator and someone who has been in this research for so long, do you think now as it stands, because this 2024 constitution is regazetted and then there have been some amendments made in the constitution, do you think Gambians would still stick to the fact that they need a new constitution, considering the status of this 2024 constitution?
Well, the principle is there. They want a new constitution. I think the content is, it will be a process. I think what will come out of this upcoming debate, I think, will be very interesting. But one thing for sure, there are few things that Gambians said in the research that they want. They want term limits. They want checks and balances. They want really, how to call it, accountability. And I think those are things also that have been reflected in the 2020 draft. And I believe some have been carried in the new draft, the recent one, the term limit. But I think there are few debates that I think we need to, really continue and see exactly what those that term limit inserted means in reality. Does it consider the existing, what has been already consumed, or is it, starting afresh? I think these are the things that people are debating. But in their majority, Gambians don't want self-perpetuation. So I think that is something that also needs to be brought to the fore. The other bit also, I think they want, if you look at in detail, they don't want also one party to continue to rule. I think they want the system of, changing. Yeah, from time to time to get other parties, to be also in charge. And you can see that in many countries such as Ghana, such as Nigeria, Sierra Leone, or even in Senegal. So I think people also would like to have proper democratic alternance where, you can see people serving their term and living graciously and allowing other people also to come on board and also deliver. So I think that also nourishes and is oxygen of democracy, because once you have more changes, then the system will be strengthened. So I think that is something that also we've seen in the report across the board that Gambians would like to see.
So among all your findings, among all the findings of the Afrobarometer, what are the two main things that Gambians are more particular? All these are important, but what are the two main things that you think they are more particular?
There are a lot, but I think if you look since the beginning of the process, Gambians have been consistently saying that they want change of government through elections. They want a democracy. They want a democracy, they want rule of law. That's one. So they don't want change of government through other means. And I think that also has to do with the legacy of the past, what we have, experienced with the former regime. So I think Gambians cherish their new democracy. The other point also is about accountability. And that is on the rise. People want those who commit human rights violations to be tried. And that has been coming, through the different surveys. And in this specific one, you see that it is on the rise. And linked to that is overall accountability. You can see in the report, they mentioned that they feel that there is impunity. That, when you are in government or you are powerful, the law doesn't apply to you. And even sometimes they believe that even citizens can break the law without any consequences. So Gambians are very attached to the rule of law in terms of, what they want to see. But I think that is a good sign. That is a very good sign to say, yes, because many people believe that if you have you entrench democracy and the citizens adhere to the rule of law and adhere to accountability, the leaders can support and put the mechanisms in place. Because in many places, sometimes you can see that, of course, you have all these systems, but citizens don't believe in the rule of law. They just want to, to be governed, without rules. Everybody wants to do. But here, in the survey, people believe that the law should be applied to everybody across the board. But I think it's very encouraging. It's very encouraging.
When it comes to the issue of security, what does the report say? Because I think it's really interesting. Gambians are also particular about their security and the security of the country.
Yes, I think you touched on a very important point, Julde. And yes, they are concerned. And I think the report also shows that they believe that they don't feel safe. Peace and security is eroding. That's the perception, and that is reflected in the report. But when you look at what government is saying, or the public officials, they seem to communicate that Gambia is the safest place. So I think we need also to see how we can interface the data and the reality. But what the people are seeing is that, and facing is that they don't feel safe. And you see, safety is very complex.
It is.
Sometimes it's not just the physical safety, it's also how you feel about it. So you cannot sometimes quantify it. Is that you need to be safe, but sometimes you need to feel safe. And sometimes when you don't have that connection, it's very difficult sometimes to come and just say randomly that, we are safe, we have normal rate of crime, etc., etc. But the overall majority of Gambians believe that the country was safer before than now. That is a debate that needs to be continuing. And I believe that these are areas also. Maybe one point also that I want to mention on gender.
Yes, I was about to come to that.
Oh, okay, so I allow you to.
I just, because for the past surveys, people were not really concerned about the issue of gender. But now I'm glad that it's coming on board, and people feel that that gender gap needs to be filled, really, as far as government is concerned, in the executive, the legislature, and all of that.
Yes, there is an interesting statistic on that. And when you look at the report, more than 60% of Gambia, I think it's about 67, said that they feel that women participate.
Yeah.
But I think that's how Gambians, in their majority, see that if you have few women, it's fine. They do. Women go to election. If you look at the past register, women were overwhelmingly, registered. The number of women registered were higher than men, and women go to election, go to vote in quite an impressive number. But the problem is that women political participation, like occupying the public space, that is really not, that is not a reality, because we've seen the parliament. I think we have about 58. How many women are elected? Three women are elected. Yeah. The two others are appointed, are nominated by the president. You go to local government, it's the same. The number of women in terms of the key position, either the governors, either, how to call it, the mayor or chairpersons. Yeah. I think we only have one. And in terms of the councillors, you go down. You go to the boardrooms, you go to the boardroom in terms of the parastatal. I don't think that any of the public institution, maybe one or two, has a director general who is a woman. And that has been, consistently the case. So I just believe that the research is showing that, yes, Gambians are not encouraging women to be in the public space because they believe that, what we have is enough. But in reality, we know that women are very, very underrepresented.
Yeah. Well, most of the time, there is a lot of advocacy, a lot of groups supporting women, a lot of workshops and meetings about women empowerment. But at the end of the time, you see little efforts about the impact of putting women to certain positions as well. You people will agree with me that we've been getting a lot of people advocating for women, not women themselves, but even men advocating, for women to be given those positions, for women to be voted into parliament. But at the end of the time, it still remains the same.
Yeah, you see, representation is very critical. But you have also to look at what is behind. If you don't have frameworks, laws, and even the culture that is supporting women in their homes, in the schools, in other places, it's very difficult for women to rise. For example, look at the debate we had recently on female genital mutilation. Most of the voices were against women's rights. Most of the voices were, supporting patriarchy. Most of the voices, the main voices that we saw in public, they were men who were supporting, but behind the scenes, they were not ready to be seen as supporting women. Why is it? So you see, unless we have this culture of positive masculinity where men can come out and support women, what I want for my son is the same as that I want from my daughter. What I want for my daughter who's excelling in school is the same that I want for my wife. So that equality, if we don't have it, it's very difficult for women to be confident and to be supported on these public offices. So that's why I think it's linked. And the last point is economic independence. So these are three things that are linked. Women political participation, yes, but they are underlining factors. The stereotypes are there. When you are in public offices, the kind of battle you face, the kind of battle you face, the reputational issues, the pressure, the social pressure, the family pressure. So many women will give up. They wouldn't want to, trade off their family lives, to political position. So at the end of the day, if you are not supported in your political career or even in your professional career, many women will tend to stagnate or decide just to remove themselves from...
Thank you, Madam Sengo. I mean, we've already exhausted our time already, and we have other segments pending to come on the program. So thank you very much for, coming on the program, at least sharing the report of the Afrobarometer with the Gambians. And I am pretty sure there will be future engagement between the Afrobarometer team and QTV.
Sure. Yes. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, we have our regional correspondent, Alaji Jallo, an interview with the National Disaster Management Agency for an interview on safe building in the Gambia. There is a building on the verge of collapsing in URR, and Alaji Jallo was able to engage officials of the National Disaster Management on this. And we'll take a look at that interview. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon. Once again, we visited you this morning at your office to report a looming disaster that is in Basse Santasu. That is the Basse Town Development Committee came to your office to report this matter. We have seen you have taken a swift reaction by coming to the scene and observing what is happening. So far, so good. Can you tell us what have you observed with regards to what was reported to you?
Firstly, may I thank you for sharing this information. And this is what we are advocating. Communities should take lead in disaster risk reduction. And this is a testimony of you showing that the Town Development Committee is concerned about the safety of the people. And that's why you came to my office. Our responsibility is to work with partners, work with institutions, both at community level, national level, and regional level, to make sure that where we observe any risk, we do everything possible with partners to prevent a disaster happening at that particular area. This is a household, probably one or two households here. But they are living in a house that is completely dilapidated. It can collapse anytime. And looking at the situation we are right now, the building doesn't have that strong foundation to hold any furthermore to keep it long. So what we observe, it is life-threatening, not only for the people living in the house or in the building, but passers-by. And we observe very well that locally when it is raining, or even not raining, children are passing using the street. And the walls that we observe are already cracked, can fall at any given time on the street. And that's why when you came to the office, I said to you, let's get to physical planning. They are the expert to determine whether the house is suitable for somebody to live in or not. And being with us, with them today here, has really informed us that they are recommending that this house is not suitable for somebody to live in. And therefore, we advise strongly that the people that are occupying this house should immediately leave. That is verbal application or verbal information sending to them. Our responsibility now, that will be shared with the governor, shared with the area council, shared with physical planning themselves, and of course the town development committee and the alcalo, so that we go further to find out who is responsible of this compound, because we are informed that the owner that they know has passed away, and somebody must be responsible, either a family relative or a close neighbor or a relative to that individual who passed away, and immediate action to be taken. If it goes beyond the capacity of the owner of the compound, we will now inform the area council and other stakeholders to bring the building down for safety of this people and for safety of children that may use the street, or even not children, but people.
You are watching QTV this morning. Welcome back from that engagement that our regional correspondent Alaji Jala had with the National Disaster Management Team in Basse URR. And we have Alaji Jalo on the line, you know, will speak to us from Basse URR. Alaji, good morning. How are you?
Yes, good morning, Paikun Nyenyukung. How's the morning?
Oh, he's reminding me. Paikun Nyenyukung, once you mentioned that, you are reminding me the Basse days. Alaji, it's good to have you on this program.
All right, thank you so much, Balde. Thank you for having me.
That almost a dilapidated building. It's like I recognize the building. Can you please tell us where the location is?
Yeah, thank you, Balde. The location of the building is right in the, if you know, Basse Angle Footer.
Yes.
Like the route that comes from Gamcourt. You know, there's a junction that is called Manchester Junction. That is the route. Presently, it's a project going on there. They are concreting the road going towards Gamcourt.
Yes.
The first bend towards Angle Footer, if you know how Basse is divided.
Yes.
So Angle Footer, this is where this particular building is. I spotted this building when I was passing by. Eventually, I saw the situation. So I wasted no time. I involved the Town Development Committee, as you are aware. The Town Development Committee is their responsibility to look into such issues. So with some of the committee members, we visited the NDMA to report such matters. Because before we visited the NDMA, we went into the building to see whether actually what we are seeing outside is what is inside. But to our shock, we realized that what was inside is more terrifying than even what was outside. So we had to rush to prevent disaster. So when we discussed with the NDMA, we told them this one, there should be no time wasted because, as you know, we are in the raining season. But as of now, we have torrential rains coming down almost on a daily basis. So if we are to waste any single moment, there could be life that we are putting at risk. So as you have heard in the interview with the NDMA officials, they told us they are going to engage their partners in physical planning and so on and so forth to see how that. So, and that was what has happened. We visited the compound with the officials in charge. You know, they made serious moves to tell them that they should move away and also inquire who the compound owner is, and eventually bring down the building. And Balde, it's not only the people living in that particular household, but if you look at the location of the building, it's on the street. And the other side where the building has cracked, this is where children always play football. And it can happen. During when children play football or during the rain season, children come out under the rain, it can fall. So we have to prevent disaster before it happens. So that is why we acted this manner for the authorities. But still now, in fact, yesterday, I revisited the place to find out if those people are still there. To my shock, those people are still there. They are still living in those buildings. And it's still raining in Basse. So this is the situation. This is why we put it to the authorities for actions to be taken. Let us not allow disaster to happen before we take action or before responses. For the past years or for the past months, we have a Q group and the others has been responding to a lot of disaster in the Gambia. So we should not just wait for the disaster to strike and then we start bringing response. It can also put life at risk, Balde.
Do you happen to know how many people are residing in that building?
Well, I did not get an estimated number, but there are 2 households, and you have a lot of children. Yeah, the children are there. Very, very young children living there. So I didn't actually know the estimated number of people, but we have 2 different households in that particular compound as we speak.
So this situation, is it only unique to this place, or it's rampant? It's something rampant in URR?
Well, to my notice, we were informed that this is not the only situation. This is not the only building in Basse. So that is why the Town Development Committee was tasked to go around the community to see such buildings if they exist in the community, so that they will put it to the authorities to find a way out. So I believe this is not the only building, because we have serious buildings more than this. So the responsibility now, or the onus, lies with the Department of Physical Planning, because physical planning should be doing a routine checkup of what is happening in the communities to see the structures and advise dwellers in those areas whether if they are fit for habitation. You know. So, but as we speak, let me tell you, obviously we have lots of such buildings in the community.
Yes. So after your engagement, when you engage the National Disaster Management Agency, now what is their stand when it comes to this building? Are they going to, demolish the whole building, or are they going to evacuate the people inside?
Yeah, in fact, that was what the NDMA has recommended. So the physical planning has recommended. They said they will communicate to the relevant authorities, as the Basse Area Councils, the governor, and the others, all the stakeholders, to completely demolish this building. And in fact, they said it should be done within 48 hours. But as we speak, it has gone beyond 48 hours. So that was the recommendation. The building should be brought down for safety of the people of the living there and the animals. You can see even on the pictures, you can see an animal living, grazing around that area. So they all can fall on that animal, and it could be a loss of life. So all these things we need to look at it. So that building obviously should be brought down.
Thank you, Alaji Jallo, for talking to us on QTV this morning, and we are grateful and happy. You always go the extra mile to update us on things happening in URR.
All right. Thank you, Balde. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Alaji Jallo there, our regional correspondent in Basse, talking to us on QTV this morning. Now we have a commercial break. After the break, we'll engage Momodu Gajaga on Sports Wall. We'll be right back.
Football FIFA murunta nanne. Hade mbal kumandila pour albe dase bulanyinto Q City Open Nawetan 2024 football tournament abe datila Ogoscaro at Rimonin Sei 2024 alati molu idabe bulala nyinto pour kanyo seyake pour ke da bulanyin football tournament oto Mafolale new group le dabije group A Q City FC HDWFC, Alatentu FC, FNK FC, Group B, Bigilo FC, Nema Stars, God Group, Rangers FC, Led Musafal FC, Group C, Kersering FC, Halal FC, MMK FC, Hunters FC, Golden Hands FC, Group D, KWT FC, Happy Corner FC, Golden Youth FC, Nakala FC, Marodi Gym FC. Woto nyindungol bekela arabo aljumo sibito aning dimaso talan saba tiribulo Q City Bigilo nalbeduna dalasi muwa drong bundato albewole jola woto kanatu koma Q City Nawetan 2024 kake wati isaje wati hakilol se bulanyinna
Kake wati say wati hakilo se bulanyina. Welcome back. Let's forget about the names of the teams, but let's focus on how useless Manchester is again. The street in Basse is called Manchester, and we have a dilapidated building there called Manchester. But I will rest my case because my brother is a Manchester fan. Momodu Gajaga.
So this is
Gajaga,
like somebody is severely injured, and then you are putting both petrol and salt and mixing it with pepper in the person's injury.
No, I didn't know you're a Manchester fan. I recently know.
Oh my God, man.
It's good to have you, Gajaga.
Yeah, most definitely. On a serious note, so we're talking about Nawetan. Yeah, some of the teams that you mentioned there in that promo, Ala 10-2 FC. What's the other funny name again? There's another team again.
I saw KWT. I saw.
Yeah, Nakala FC.
Nakala.
Yes, I wanted to say Nakala FC. Very interesting names there. So is the Q City Nawetan. Last season we were there when Bijilo FC, the team in Group B now, lifted the trophy. They won by a 1-0, and they played against Babylon at the time. So Coach Ahmad Cham was in the thick of things last year. Coach, tell us, this year, what's new?
Thank you very much, and good morning to everybody who is watching this program. I'm very happy to be here and happy to talk about what I love, what I have passion for, that is football. And this time we're talking about the Q City Nawetan. Last year we had 16 teams, and it went very well. It was a great accomplishment by the Q City staffs and all members of the Q group, and I think everybody did their part to make sure that it was successful. And this year we felt it is a necessity because it started and people were asking the question, is it going to happen again? And the feeling was that yes, it should, and I'm very happy to say that I was tasked to be the chairman of the organizing committee to make sure that it takes place, and we have been working very hard to make sure that it takes place, and now it is here. We are starting on the 28th, that is on Wednesday, with the Q City team playing HDW. Yes, the organization have been going very well. We are working tooth and nail to make sure that the pitch is ready. Every day you go there, there is somebody working on the pitch who try to make sure that the grass is at a level that the ball can roll and roll easily without the football players having struggles, and trying to fix the potholes on the pitch and make sure that the pitch is ready for attractive football to be played. And as I always say, football to be played the ideal way, because as coaches, when you talk about football, some people would say you play the right way, and in coaching there is nothing that we say this is the wrong way. You have your beliefs, you have your principles, and that is what you put onto your players, and that's how they will try to play. So for me, we feel that football should be played the ideal way, and you can only play football when you have a proper pitch. Like if you have your kid going to school, if he or she does not have a pen, doesn't have a pencil, it's going to be very difficult for that kid to learn. So football players need a pitch to express themselves. So we feel it's important that that pitch is top-notch and is ready for the ball to roll, and we believe it's ready. We are only left ruling the field, and probably today or tomorrow that will happen. We are expecting to start ruling the field today, and we'll finish the job of ruling the field tomorrow. And we have written to the Referees Association, like last year. We wrote to them, and they were in a position to provide referees for us, and the same thing which is going to happen. We are going to have referees who played in the league to go and play these matches at the Q City complex.
There seems to be a lot of attraction. That's the reason why from 16 now we're talking about 20 teams. What's the reasoning behind it? If you look at all the teams around that end, from Bijilo to Sukuta to Bakote, around those ends.
You know, there are a lot of youths that are around, and a lot of youths play football, and not all of them have the opportunity to play in the regular Nawetan zones. And because they don't have the opportunity to play in the regular Nawetan zones, they will want to show their talents to people. And because of that, we felt it was a necessity to increase it from 16 to 20 to make sure that we give more coverage, more opportunities to other players. Because if you look at 20 teams, you multiply that by 25 players. That is a lot of players coming to play in these games. That's about 1,000 or 500 players taking part in the tournament. So we feel it's important to give people to give the youths the access to come and showcase their talents. And we know coaches from the first and the second division will be there to look at players that they can take to their clubs.
Last year's Nawetan was fantastic. On the final, I remember the Q Group chairman, Mr. Mohamed Jah, was there, raised the occasion, not only graced the occasion, but Balde Nyari team you them on final. They
were all happy.
We were all happy.
Wow.
Wow. So the family dal. This time it could even be more.
Dafa taxaw sa mo bëgg build suma own team man tam ma dem.
Waaw.
Waaye yéen ñëpp da ngeen ragal.
Nga tuddee ko Balde FC.
Balde 1 FC.
Yéen ñëpp da ngeen ragal. Yéen ñëpp da ngeen ragal. Kenn ñëwut ici team to take part. I think loolu tam beneen shortfall la waroon nañoo am teams yu bari yoo xam ne dañ jógee ñun suñu biir ñu play si tournament bi, but unfortunately loolu xewul, benn team rek lañ am mooy Kew City.
Yes, so finally, when it comes to the competition itself, what's going to happen? Teams are already being drawn in their various groups, from Group A to Group D.
The fixtures is also out, the rules and regulations are out, and we are not only stopping at playing football, because we all know that Kew City is a leisure complex and a lot of people go there. Now, they don't just go there to watch football, there will be a lot of entertainment. We have already engaged the Kabakel group. They will be there to entertain people. There will be food available for people to buy from the food court at reasonable prices. And we believe it will bring a lot of people together, and they don't just come and watch football. If you want to eat, you'll have the opportunity to go and eat at a reasonable price. If you want entertainment, there will be entertainment. Like last year, we had a team that brought a fan club, and eventually, as we said, the chairman of the Q group took over the fans. Even though their team did not play the finals, they were asked to come and support during the final proper. And as you said, everybody who was there was pretty happy. Everybody went home in a joyous mood. The winners, the losers, the fans, the organizers, everybody who was involved in the tournament was pretty happy when they were leaving the place. The other thing is we have to look at the days that we play. We play on Wednesdays, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday every weekend we are expecting to have two matches, one at 3 o'clock and one at 5 p.m. So that's that for now.
Yes, thank you very much, Coach Amacha. Back to you, Balde.
Yeah, so thank you very much, Gajaga. Interesting, and last year's Nawetan was very interesting, and we were all there, to grace the final, and it turned out to be a very colorful environment, and I am pretty sure it will be more than that this year. Yes, Gajaga. Thank you very much, Julde. This is all we have.
Until we come here
tomorrow
for
inshallah.
Another interesting
yes, thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye-bye.